Okay, everyone, we are going to see if we can get this going. Let's see here. I knew that I would be the first technical blub of the day. Let's see if we can get this going. Oh no. Let's try it again. There we go. Okay, and we're off. Thank you all so much. Again, patience is key, especially if I am in the driver's seat. So thank you. I just wanted to take the next 20 minutes or so just to walk you through what the association has been doing over the past year. But before I get into that, I want to say that it is my honor to lead this organization, but I also don't lead alone. I want to thank my fellow board members who serve along with me and who are equally committed to advancing the organization. So a special thanks to Kia Scipio, to Charlotte Toller, Courtney Carter, Meridia Crawford, Yusuf Zakir, Jessica Maroney-Shalito, Pauline Beslano, and Caroline Abney. One of the things that I love so much about ALFDP is our people. Our collection of knowledge and experience is impressive. We have members with over 20 years of experience who are driving strategy at some of the top global law firms in the world. And we are sought after as leaders in diversity and inclusion. We've been a leader in this space for 14 years, and we want to continue to build on that legacy. So you may remember at our member meeting back in February, we talked about how we were going to build on that legacy, and we set forth some goals that we wanted to achieve. Well, we had no idea what would happen just 1 month later when COVID started to rage through the US and forced us to shelter in place. 8 months later, we are dealing with a global health crisis, a global economic crisis, a very tense political climate, and the fight for power, and honestly, the fight for democracy. And there are still ongoing protests and calls for racial and social justice. And look, it's not over. We will be dealing with this for months to come, and the impact in some areas are going to be felt for years. So it's safe to say that everything we had planned had to change. We had to pivot all of our priorities. We had to juggle work and home in a way that we've never done it before. And look, it's just been a tough year. And I've been very honest about that. But you know what? We are strong. We are tough. We still show up when everyone else says it's just too hard. We don't have the luxury to check out just because we're frustrated. And it's because of that I know that we're going to keep rising to the top. And that's one of the things that I really love about this organization. So even though this year has been really challenging, we were still able to get quite a lot done. All right, so what did we do this year? Right now, we have more members in the organization. We have slightly over 250 members. That is an increase of 30 members from this time last year. We have 50 new members who are brand new to ALFDP. So again, welcome. And we have over 120 law firms, and we increased that by 10 firms from this time last year. So the organization is definitely growing. We delivered more programs and webinars this year. One of our goals was to push more content to our members and bring the membership together more. We had 14 touch points with our members so far this year, and that's more than we did all of last year. You may remember that we had webinars on business development with Tasneem Koka from Growth Play. Ritu Basin did a couple of webinars for us as well. There was a mindfulness webinar with John Kropp. And our very own Sylvia James walked us through a supplier diversity program just a couple of weeks ago. We had 3 regional meetups. We had one in Washington, D.C. And if I'm not mistaken, it was 1 week before the shelter in place. And then we had 2 virtual meetups, one in New York and the other one in LA. And we had a little bit of fun with the end of summer happy hour. So again, that's just a snapshot of some of the things that we were able to do despite all of the challenges that we had this year. We revamped our mentoring program. We relaunched it in August of 2020. So I want to give a special thanks to Dennis and to Latanya Brooks and Jessica for all of their work on that program. We have 68 members participating in that program. If you would like to participate, please do let us know, and we would love to have you join in on that program. We hired a new part-time communications and project manager. Danielle Murray joined us in July of 2020. I think we realized that in order to elevate the organization and advance our priorities, that we needed to hire additional support. So she works alongside with the board and with Jill, who has been with us from the very beginning. And I'll say here that Danielle has jumped in with both feet. She's one of the key players behind the scenes, helping us with Remo and helping us with this conference. And we are absolutely thrilled to have her. We retained a PR firm. So we've been working with Post-In Communications, and they have helped draft some of the public statements that you've seen. And if you haven't seen it yet, we posted something on LinkedIn just this Monday on Kamala Harris. So I encourage you to take a look at that. And Post-In has been helping us to raise the visibility of the organization. And keeping with the media theme, we have increased our social media presence. We do have 800 followers on our LinkedIn account. If you are not one of them, I encourage you to do so today. And we also wrote more articles and blogs this year. We wrote 7 of them, and we hope to increase that over time. What else have we done? We updated our operating procedures and our governance documents. So this is something that's occurring behind the scenes. So the full membership doesn't have visibility into this. So let me just kind of talk you through some of the things that we've done. We hired pro bono counsel to review our bylaws and all of our contracts. We wanted to make sure that everything is in order, the I's were dotted and the T's were crossed. We created operations manuals to capture how the organization is run and how we do things. And then we also created manuals for new board members to make sure that that transition is effective and smooth. Imagine that concept. And then we streamlined our strategic plan as well. So there's a lot of work that the board is doing behind the scenes that the membership doesn't have insight into, but just know that we are working hard on some of that. And then we had more partnerships and sponsorships. So one way to raise the visibility of the organization is to enter into mutually beneficial arrangements and partnerships with other organizations in the industry. So earlier this year, we were a sponsor of the VOLS Summit. We are a supporter of the Belonging Project, and just give a special shout out to our member, Corey Carew, and all the amazing work that she's doing with that project. We were a sponsor of Dwayne Morris's Town Hall series. Special shout out to Joe West for that series. It was great. It was a 3-parter, and I hope that you all were able to attend that as well. We once again partnered with NOUT on the D&I Summit, which was just last month. And a couple of weeks ago, we were proud to serve again as a community sponsor of the DFA annual conference. So we hope to continue these relationships and expand that list next year. So as mentioned early on, we do have several committees for our members to engage with. And so we hope that you do that. Keep in mind that ALFDP is a volunteer-based organization. We are only as successful as our member engagement, and it takes everyone contributing, from serving on a committee or serving as a mentor, sharing your knowledge with members, attending conferences like this. So my charge to all of us is to please participate. If we want the organization to continue to grow, then we need your help. So as Whitney mentioned earlier, if you click on the right side in the room that says join a committee, please do so and sign up for one of these committees in front of you. So I'll just go quickly through all of them. The conference committee is behind the annual conference and all the planning that goes into that. So again, a shout out for Whitney for all the things that she has done. And I'll also want to recognize Courtney Carter, who serves as the board liaison for that committee. We are seeking assistance from people who want to help plan 2021. So if you would like to raise your hand, we definitely would welcome that help. The governance committee, I want to thank Mary Ellen and Carly for their work on that committee, and also recognize Caroline, who serves as the board liaison. That committee helps us with the strategic plan, and they work very closely with the board to make sure that the goals and priorities align. We also have the Media and Communications Committee. I want to thank Sasha DeClercq, who has served as co-chair of that committee for years. We are in need of members on this committee specifically. One of our goals is to continue to expand our social media presence. So we need people to help us with that. So if you have, interest in media and writing and blogs, I definitely encourage you to sign up. And I also want to thank Yusuf, who serves as the board liaison for that committee. We have the membership committee. Special thanks to Simone Martin and Helena Harris. They are in charge of our new member experience. And thanks to Kia, who serves as the board liaison for that committee. We have the Professional Development and Training Committee. Special thanks to Dennis and Latoya, who help us with our programs and all of our webinars. And an extra thanks to Jessica, who serves as the board liaison. And then last but not least is our Strategic Partnerships Committee. Special thanks to Kim and Yukiri. This is one of our more popular committees. And as of right now, we are not accepting any new members. But this committee has been very, very busy working to secure partnerships with other organizations in the industry. And first on deck is a research project with the ACC Foundation. We will be gathering intelligence and best practices on mitigating the impact of COVID on underrepresented attorneys. And we hope to get that published in 2021. And we are also in active conversations with Akratas and Thompson on possible research projects as well. So what do we want to achieve for next year? First thing I am excited about is we are going to get a new CRM. Yay! We are going to be using your membership. And the good news is that work is already underway to get that rolled out. So special thanks to Yusuf, to Danielle, and to Jill, who have been leading that implementation effort. Along with a CRM will come a new website, which we're really excited about. I think our current website has run its course, it's served its purpose, but it's time for us to upgrade. Our new website will also have e-commerce capabilities, so hopefully we'll be able to move away from sending and mailing checks. And we will also be able to do a little bit of custom marketing so we can engage the membership a little more. So look for that to roll out, hopefully, fingers and toes crossed, summer of 2021. We would like to have a mid-year member meeting. Again, this is in the vein of pushing content out to the membership. Some of our members have been working very hard on a best practices summit that we had hoped to roll out in January, but then, 2020 just kept throwing us curveballs. So there's curveballs. So there is an opportunity for us to take that summit and possibly roll it out in the spring. We often do a member survey every other year. So it's time for us to do another one. So we'll be working very closely with the governance committee to determine if we should do a salary survey or if we should do another member engagement survey. But I will just say stay tuned because we will be doing one of those surveys. And then last but not least is to form an alumni chapter. We have a lot of our friends who have left ALFDP because they are now working outside of a law firm, but we want to stay connected. That's a lot of knowledge and experience that we can still leverage here at ALFDP. So we're looking to create an alumni chapter. So that's just a really quick snapshot of some of the things that the board would like to accomplish next year. But what's right ahead of us are two upcoming events. I figured let's end the year on a good note with some holiday cheer. So we're going to have a holiday happy hour. It will be virtual on Thursday, December 17th. Time still TBD, but it will be more than likely around 6:30 Eastern time, but stay tuned. And then in January, we're going to have a mentoring mixer. And that's for all of the people who are currently participating in the mentoring program to meet each other, to talk about the program, how it's going, what's working well so far, where we need to enhance it. We want everyone to have a good experience. So we definitely value the feedback. So we want to bring folks together to talk about that. So this concludes our year in review. I will now turn it over to Kia, who is serving as both our VP and our treasurer, to walk us through some of the organization's finances. So Kia, I will turn it over to you. Thanks so much.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kia Scipio. I'm the Director of Diversity and Inclusion at Ropes and Gray, and I have been very honored to have served in this last year in the capacity of Vice President of ALFDP, and now most recently, literally within the last 2 months, serve as Treasurer as well. So I will ask that you bear with me as I too navigate our technology, but also as I am just sort of getting up to speed with all of our finances. As you all know, Bernard Guignard has joined the other side of diversity, equity, and inclusion and belonging. And so I say that in jest. We were sad to see Bernard go, but he is now doing DEI work at Facebook. So many congrats to him. And although I am annoyed at him because now I'm treasurer too. So at any rate, let me share my screen so you all can see. This will be a very brief overview of our expenses over the last year. You know, as Leah has said, and we all know that 2020 definitely threw a curveball in every sense of the word. And so while we kicked off the year, having left our conference in Texas, and then, you know, our board meeting in January that was in California, and we had big plans for making sure that people stayed engaged through regional meetings and happy hours and such. Those things didn't happen. And if they did, they didn't happen in the way in which we envisioned. So with that, let me just move on to what our current account balances are. You'll notice they haven't changed much since last year. And if I was really astute at putting all these things together, I probably would have done a comparison for you. But literally, when I tell you that the dollars have changed maybe by 5,000 in an increase in the last year, that would be it, because some of our spending has been very, very limited. Not some, all of our spending has been very limited, which is great because that means that we can make and aspire to great things for 2021. And the other thing is that we've all learned how to be so much more creative and how to still stay engaged even if we can't be physically together. So I would expect that some of these expenditures would increase over the course of the coming year. So with that, let me just, sorry for that title. That should be our list of expenditures. But so here are your categories of expenses for ALFDP, and you'll see the total that has been spent for administrative costs. To date, that includes our Dropbox, use of SurveyMonkey, Multipoint, which is a part of our, which is our sort of interface for our membership, the website, our engagement with Poston, as Leah mentioned, that we are now working with a PR firm. So the PR expense there at $2,500, trademarking of ALFDP and the logo, and then the payment to our accountant. So that comes to a total of approximately $16,229. Conference expenses to date, and that is just to date, and it's at 10/29. We do have other invoices that I have since received, and those will be taken care of. So this is, these are our conference expenses as of this week. There were some carryover conference expenses from 2019's conference at $4,860. The board of directors expenses are $2,118. Again, you'll see the board dinner, There was a dinner at CYOC, and then board meeting and food. And since, again, we've only had one meeting, our expenses in person, our expenses have been very, very low. Other expenses, things like postage, in terms of now we have to send things out in a way that we haven't in the past. So that's gone up maybe a little bit. And then we have not only Jill Kennebru's salary, who has been our longtime ALFDP administrator. We now have Danielle Murray, as Leah mentioned in the opening, and so her salary will be there too. So you will see an increase in the salaries as well. So we have a total current expense at $40,243. And that's where we are as an organization to date. As I said, I will keep it brief. Not a whole lot of activity going on, but please, if anybody does have any questions, you don't need to hesitate to reach out. And again, thank you for the opportunity to serve as VP and most recently treasurer, but I look forward to turning the treasurership over to someone else. And with that, I will turn this over to Charla, who serves as our ALFDP secretary.
Hey, Charla. Oh, there you go. All right, we're good.
Hi, everyone. So good to see everyone today. Thank you so much, Kia, for the financial report. We are now going to run into the point where we are going to hear from our candidates in terms of our election process. And the first person that we are going to hear from today is going to be Manya Bunch. Maya, do you have the ability to join us for your candidate speech?
I do. I think, can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you see me?
I can.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you, Charla, for myself. My name is Manya Bunch, and I'm running for Financial Secretary of the ALFDP board. And I want to thank Charla, Kia, and the ALFDP leadership for providing this platform and the opportunity to speak to leadership in support of the Throughout my years in the leadership, I've been an advocate and supporter of DEI principles and initiatives in law firm practice, academia, and corporate executive leadership. I am a recovering attorney, having spent more than 10 years as a litigator in Washington, D.C., specializing in class action ERISA litigation. In addition, I served as in-house counsel at a brokerage and investment firm as an adjunct professor at my alma mater, Howard University School of Law, and at the University of Maryland, where I developed and taught a legal professions course to pre-law students, incorporating principles of diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging into the education of the next generation of lawyers and legal professionals. Currently, I am the Professional Development and Diversity Manager at WilmerHale, where I began my legal career as an attorney. When I transferred from the attorney side of law firms to the diversity professional side, it was actually a pretty humbling experience. I knew a lot, but I quite honestly could not believe how much I've learned and continue to learn from the knowledge of our ALFDP members. This has been an amazing journey. And in particular, it's really been exciting for me to witness how the conversation around diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging in law firms has dramatically intensified over the last few months, and how important this body has been,
and undoubtedly will continue to be as our members continue to engage in bolder and transparent conversations with senior leadership and attorneys we support. One thing that has really become clear to me is that we need the support of each other as we move forward with this important but emotionally intense work. I do not speak in hyperbole when I say ALFDP saved my sanity as we were all thrown into the trenches of June, July, and August. And it was during this time that I resolved to also invest in and support ALFDP in whatever capacity I can, including serving on the planning committee for this conference, led by the incomparable Whitney Smallwood. I am deeply committed to ALFDP's mission to act as a catalyst for the advancement of diversity and inclusion in the legal profession through our collective knowledge, vision, expertise, and advocacy in the arena of law firm diversity. And I want to give back to the organization that has poured so much into me. In addition to my commitment and passion, my expertise and experience includes organizational skills, teamwork, systems-oriented thinking, and service on several nonprofit boards, including the Montgomery County Collaboration Council for Children, Youth, and Families, where I currently serve as a board member and treasurer. I am honored to be considered for the position of financial secretary, and I am hoping to have your vote. Thank you for your time and consideration. Please feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Manya. Now up is our candidate for treasurer. Michelle, are you available?
Thank you, Charla. Can you hear me and can you see me?
Yes.
Thank you. Well, thank you to our leadership and to our conference planning committee. We so appreciate the hard work that you have put into getting us all together, even though it is through a virtual platform. And thank you for the opportunity and honor of being nominated for the treasurer role. I have been an ALFDP member since 2016, when I became a full-time diversity professional. However, I have been in the legal industry, working in law firms for a very, very long time. I like to say I started when I was around 12 years old. Over the years, I've asked myself why I continued to work in an industry that is oftentimes difficult, unforgiving, and disappointing. When I question why, I think back to all of those individuals who have supported me in my journey, encouraging me, pushing and challenging me, and being there when I needed a good cry or a good laugh, and just helping me get to where I wanted to go, even sometimes when I didn't know where I was going. It's because of those people and their support that I've always wanted to pay it forward. And I also realized along the way that I really enjoy helping and supporting people like I have been supported in my career and in my life. Individuals do play a big role in that support, but so do organizations like ALFDP. The relationships and friendships that we build through membership in these organizations are what keeps us going in good times and in very difficult and strange times. Throughout my career, I've had the opportunity to build things from the ground up. I've experienced success and failure and challenge and all those things that have come with starting something new. The opportunities to develop design, processes, infrastructure, and build relationships, plus be part of a leadership group, has been worth all of the time and energy spent to establish those things from the ground up. Giving back to this organization is so very important to me, and I am committed to being a strong and passionate contributor as your treasurer and a resource to our membership. I want this organization to thrive and to continue to provide the benefits, resources, leadership, and relationships that have helped me so much and will help so many more. So thank you so much. I appreciate your confidence and your vote, and I look forward to the opportunity to continue my service to this amazing organization. Thank you, Charla.
Thank you, Michelle. And now we'll go to our candidate for at-large director positions. First up is Kim Amrine.
Hey, everybody. Charlotte, can you hear me, see me?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Can everybody hear me or see me?
Kim, we can hear you.
Okay. Can you see me?
We can see you too.
I hope you can see me as well. I'll just go ahead and proceed so we can move along. I really thank everybody. Big virtual hug. Kudos to the ALFDP conference committee for doing a fantastic job. I do miss hugs in person, so a virtual hug to all of you. My name is Kim Amrine. I'm the Director of Diversity and Inclusion at Frost Brown Todd. I am more senior, so I have been in this role as the Director of Diversity and Inclusion as a full-time position since 2006, which is actually the same year that ALFDP was founded. Back then, it took me a couple years to find ALFDP because in the Midwest market, I was kind of one of the only folks in my role. It took me a few years to hear about the organization, and I remember my first conference that I attended, it was 15 to 20 of us in a single room, and it's been great to see the organization grow. I echo what Leah said in her beginning announcements, and I've always felt truth to the need for every ALFDP member to be engaged in some way, in some working committee every year that you're a member of this organization. I've taken that commitment seriously. And so over the years, I've participated in a number of working committees, many years on the conference planning committee. So I know that all that goes into the work behind the scenes. Also worked on the advisory call committee and the professional development and training committee. And the last 2 years as it's been privileged to be a co-chair of the strategic partnership committee. And it's great to see some visibility in the ALFDP brand getting broader recognition there. I've always had a passion for this organization, which has given so much to me. There is no question that I would not still be here doing this critical, important work today without the support of the friendships and the care, and the resources and the honesty to keep me afloat on the rough days. It's an organization unlike any other. So I would be privileged to serve on a board position. Many often ask me why I haven't stepped up to be on the board. Truth be told, and confessions here is that I actually ran for an open board position 6 years ago and was beat out by better talent and better folks. So I'm given another whack at it to put my name in the hat. But I'm happy to serve in whatever capacity that ALFDP needs most from me. And if that's behind the scenes on a working standing committee, if that's in a board leadership position, I am here. I am all in and ready to roll up my sleeves and devote a lot of time and effort to an organization that has given not only so much to me, but so much to the profession. The only final note I'll add is I was really excited to hear Leah mention in her opening announcements. My one new idea for the organization for us to think about going forward, especially with Monica's passing, is connecting with our alumni. And so I'm excited for moving forward with that and ready to roll up my sleeves and help. And I think as someone who's been a member of ALFDP for a long time, kind of know some folks and we have those independent relationships and can tap in and help with that. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Kim. And now our second candidate at large director position, Dennis.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me and see me?
Yes, Dennis, you're good.
Yes, we can.
All right, great. Committee for organizing this conference. I know I'm not alone in acknowledging that this conference re-energizes all of us for the toils and tribulations of being a DEI professional during the year. So I know even though we can't be together, I'm already feeling all of your energy coming through the chat. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Dennis Quinio. I'm currently the manager of diversity and inclusion at Milbank, where I lead a small but mighty team of amazing D&I professionals. I've been privileged to be a member of ALFDP since 2017, which is when I became a full-time diversity professional after spending more than 8 years navigating and later shaping law firms as an openly LGBT lawyer of color. And I owe any success that I had as an attorney to the diversity initiatives that many who founded this group put into place. And that's why I'm so honored to be running for board director at large. You might recognize me from the emails that came out since I'm the current chair of ALFDP's virtual mentoring program. We were really excited to launch that mid-pandemic to provide an additional layer of support and connectivity to our members. Or you may also recognize me from the ALFDP website itself. If you're on the website and you scroll to the middle of the website, you may see my face. Since the 2018 website redesign happened, I have literally been the poster child for ALFDP, really excited to represent. But what you may not know about me is that my decision to become a full-time law firm diversity professional came about around the time of a certain presidential election that happened in 2016. It was very different from, I think, the atmosphere and the environment from this past presidential election, which is still ongoing. But those of you in New York might remember how sad and gloomy and melancholy that time was for us. I was really excited when I woke up on the Wednesday after Election Day this year to see a blue sky and the sun shining, hopefully a good omen for all of the things to come for this next administration. But that's really what motivated me, to move into this role full time and really help the underrepresented and marginalized. So I was thrilled when the members of the current board nominated me to run for a board member at large position. I would be delighted to continue to help steer ALFDP and its extremely critical role in supporting D&I professionals at law firms. So I'll just close by saying that I know many of you have heard me talk about my personal diversity story, about how the intersection of my numerous and oftentimes conflicting identities made a very interesting sense of belonging for me, or perhaps more accurately, not belonging. I was a little too queer for my Asians, definitely too Asian for the queers, too much of both to be a real Catholic, and being all that in the blue part of a red state in the South where I grew up was sometimes a little lonely. So you also may have heard how I talked about flipping the script on that situation and how by not belonging anywhere, I actually asserted that I belonged everywhere. Well, I will say that it is truly a pleasure to belong to ALFDP, where everyone has really opened their arms, welcomed me, all of your warm hugs during non-COVID times. And because of that, I'm so excited to be running for this position, to get even more involved in ALFDP, and that I hope you will support my election for board director at large. Look forward to connecting and reconnecting with all of you for this conference. And thank you so much.
Thank you, Dennis. And thank you so much to all of the candidates for their speeches and for their interest in joining the board. I will now turn it back over to Kia, who will talk about the voting process.
Thank you, Charla. And thank you for jumping in. I know that I sort of conflated some things, and I appreciate you jumping right in and introducing all of our candidates. So thank you very much. Now we will very shortly, each of our voting members of ALFDP will receive an email. And in that email, you will have a link to a survey which will allow you to cast your vote. Now, your vote needs to be cast no later than 5 p.m. today for it to be counted. Every vote counts, as we have learned from this past weekend. So please make sure that you take the time to vote for the candidates that are up for election for this cycle. If you have any questions for the voting process, you saw and heard from our lovely Charlotte Toller, as well as Pauline Vicelenio, sorry. The two of them can answer any questions that you may have. But again, you will receive an email with a link to the ballot, and your votes must be received no later than today at 5 o'clock. And with that, I believe we are on a brief break, lunch break, until we resume our concurrent sessions at 12:45.